Hello everybody. Today we are in Lake Pleasant, Arizona. That's what we have in the backdrop here. Nice, peaceful, placid lake. And it kind of reminds us of peace of mind, and that in this world of chaos that we're going through on a regular basis, peace of mind is really, really important. My name is Paul D'Agostino. I'm an author, a journalist, and photographer, and I'm here with Chris Nicholas, who is specializing these days in helping veterans overcome issues like PTSD, and a lot of other traumas that happen to veterans along the way in service, and also when they come home. And when they come home, that's some of the times they really experience the heartache, the hardship, and the despair of being away from their comrades, or I shouldn't say comrades. That's a bad term, comrades. Isn't
Comrades
it?
is a bad term.
They're partners out there. They're war buddies. Let's put it that way. I've never been in combat, so I don't know. But I can tell you from the interviews I've had with veterans over the years, it's serious stuff, and it affects them for a long period of time. So Chris is a veteran of the Iraq War, and also is involved in this project to help other veterans overcome the kinds of traumas they've been dealing with for a long, long time. So Chris, and he also is from Joplin, Missouri, right?
I live in Joplin, Missouri.
So tell us a little bit about what your focus is right now.
Well, Paul, I spent a year in Iraq, in Ramadi, during some of the toughest fighting that went on in 2005, 2006. And through a series of events that happened, I didn't struggle while I was over there with fear. The things that we went through, the fighting, everything, I didn't struggle with that. But when I came home, I found myself kind of isolated and alone. And that has been one of my biggest fears that I've learned in my life, and it goes all the way back to 1968. My biggest fear is being alone. So when I found myself alone, I found myself in a very dark place, and even to the point of contemplating suicide. So I've kind of done some stuff in corporate America over the years, but I've reached a point in my life that I've decided that whatever time God gives me left on this earth, I want to take what I've learned and help other veterans grow, live a more peaceful life, because I've gone from a life of absolute chaos to where now I wake up every morning looking at this beautiful sky and the beautiful lake behind us, and I'm just at such peace. And I would be pretty much a jerk if I didn't share what I've learned to help them.
Well, tell me, how long did it take you to go from chaos to the kind of peace you have right now?
I've been on my journey 3.5 years. It didn't take that long. Now, also understand, I'm hard-headed. I'm an engineer, so I need data. And as I told my dad, I didn't believe in the psychological BS that he was sharing with me. So I was a little bit slower to the party. But I would say after a few months of truly working on what I was struggling with, I started to feel that peace. And the great thing is, the peace will never stop. The farther you go along, the more and more and more that it gets. And you can get to a point and say, I'm happy right here, and I'm going to stop right here. But if you want more and you want to continue to grow and have a more peaceful life, and today, I mean, everything that's going on, a lot of your veterans are hardworking blue-collar workers.
Right.
And if we look at the economy, who's lost their jobs? It's the hardworking Americans. And so you find yourself without a job, and you start asking yourself a question: am I going to be able to pay the house payment?
Yep.
Am I going to be able to keep clothes on my kids and feed them? And so it gets really difficult and overwhelming for them. So
I wanted to backtrack a little bit. Your father, Nick Nicholas, wrote a book, Reclaim My Life, My Journey Back to God, which is on Amazon. And that's the foundation for a lot of your journey, right?
That is correct.
He helped you pull the gun away from your head.
He did.
Okay. And so that 3 years has been, he's helped you in that 3 years, because for him it was like 30 years. to get to peace of mind. So
So
you
ma-
shorten your journey a little bit.
So maybe I'm a little smarter than he is.
That's possible. That's possible. But you're an engineer, right?
There you
Forgot
go.
to mention that. Nuclear.
I am a mechanical engineer.
Mechanical engineer,
Yeah, I've
okay.
worked in the nuclear industry.
Okay. So the question I have for you now is, okay, there's this peace of mind that you have. How do you maintain that on a regular basis?
It's something that you have to think about sometimes. The big thing is this: the fear when an event happens. I lost my job. What am I going to do? That immediately hits you with a fear. I've got to take care of my family.
Right.
And I learned early on, fear is just a question. Am I going to be okay?
I've heard that before someplace.
Yes. That's the basis of it, is the question, am I going to be okay? And the answer is always yes. Because God has given us the skills, the knowledge, the ability, and the strength to handle whatever. We're standing here today. We've made it through everything that we faced in life. It all begins with understanding we have to start thinking positively and start having those positive thoughts, and it goes on from there.
I'm going to ask you a tough question.
Okay.
Because in the veterans, years ago I did a documentary on veterans, and I interviewed several dozen veterans. Some of them had no faith in God whatsoever. It had been sucked out of their system because of cynicalism. The military has got its own culture. Things happen in the military, not even in combat, that can turn people sour on the military. And so they come back, and or maybe they had no faith to begin with. They come back, they don't have much faith. How do they have to hit rock bottom to get faith, or in your opinion, or can because you're saying that the whole thing is, am I going to be okay? And the answer is yes. But if you don't have a lot of faith, can that answer still be yes?
The short answer is yes. The short answer to do you have to reach rock bottom? No.
Okay.
Now, somebody as hard-headed as I am, I had to reach that point before I was willing to do that, to work on it. They say there's no atheist in foxholes. I can vouch for that. We prayed before we left the wire every day. When I came back, I learned that I can have faith in myself, faith in others, and faith in God. And through the series of events in my life, I started second guessing myself. I had no faith in others like the faith that I had in my brothers that were to my right and my left overseas that I knew I could absolutely trust implicitly. And my faith in God at the time was wavering. And so it took me just sitting down and saying, okay, God, I don't know what direction to turn. What do I need to do? And it just kind of went from there.
Okay. Specifically, what do you want to do to help veterans in your home area or nationwide?
I wanted them to understand they're not alone.
That's a big one.
I want them to understand that the things that we went through don't define us. The things that we're going through back here in the States, like I said, you don't have to be a combat veteran. And this applies, what we're talking about applies to everybody, every single person on this earth, all 7 billion of us. It's just that my passion is for veterans. I've lost more brothers since we came home than we lost in combat to suicide. A brother that was instrumental in saving me committed suicide. So it is something that is just on my heart that I just want to make sure that I can share with them. And being a veteran myself, I can make that connection.